Hi, folks. I'm Jamie Hiles.
I'm Lydia Judy.
I'm Derek Lemaster.
This is Screen Bloody Movies, the podcast where we review a horror movie each week. We go over the horror news in this week. We see how hollow we can be. Hollow is a synonym for assault in this case. So, as we talk about Paul Verhoeven's 2000 Invisible Man adaptation, Hollow Man. But before we do all that, how are you guys doing?
Doing good. I just had a big old meal of sushi for Jake's birthday. It was so good.
It's good.
It was a late birthday, but we were all sick last week, so.
Hey, you got to do it when you can.
I had Pop-Tarts before we got on, so...
What flavor?
Brown cinnamon.
Oh, heck yeah.
The only way to go.
I'm a like strawberry guy or cherry guy. But
Okay
if you want me to be honest, my absolute favorite, s'mores.
S'mores is where it's at.
S'mores is just fire, guys.
Yeah.
So good. Especially if you put them in the
toast
toaster.
them.
Yeah. Oh, that's where it's at. Get a glass of milk, you're like, nom, 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 nom. I had some Sims beef jerky. Sims. Hopefully they'll sponsor us. Sims. Pack me up a new box of those Sims.
Nice.
I think that's Aldi brand. I'm pretty sure Aldi brand beef jerky. Sims. Not Slim Jim, but Sims.
Sims. Sim Johns.
I don't have my Macho Man glasses, otherwise I would snap into a Slim Jim.
Nope, you crunch into a Sims. See? Jamie tested, Jamie approved. Sims. That's my Sims pitch. Guys, I'm glad you guys are doing well. We have a lot to talk about because I have a verifiable plethora of horror news. That I want to go through. I mean, it's not like 50, but it's a couple, and some of them are pretty big. So let's get into it. Let's start with... there's a lot to start with. Let's start with this one, Lydia, for you. Josh Hartnett is talking about his new movie he's starring in called Trapped, which is M. Night Shyamalan's next movie, and he describes it as very dark and very bizarre. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think I saw an advertisement for that.
Well, it was supposed to be out originally, or it's dated for, theatrical date is August 2nd, so it'll be out in August. But he said it's a pivot for him as an actor. But what do you guys think? Josh Hartnett starring in an M. Night Shyamalan movie? That's supposed to be dark? What do you guys think?
It sounds good to me.
Yeah, it's good. He said it's a pivot for him, right?
Yeah.
So hopefully it challenged him.
Yeah, and
I like M. Night Shyamalan.
Yep. And I like Josh.
Village.
I like most of them, but The Village. Well, that's not true. I guess I like The Sixth Sense and Unbreakable, and Split, and The Visit.
And
I think
all
those
of
are
them.
Those I think are the ones that I like because the less said about the happening, the better. And I was not a fan of whole Lady in the Water.
You didn't like Lady in the Water?
No.
Oh, Derek, you
God,
would like
no.
it, I think, hopefully.
God,
really
no. I mean,
Lady
it has the amazing Bryce Dallas Howard in it, but it's no, and Paul Giamatti. But
Paul Giamatti, though. Come on, he's so good.
It's just so dumb. And of course,
it hits my heart every time.
In pure Shyamalan fashion, he is the god of the world.
I love it.
He's always the god of his worlds.
Not
for me, that one. Not for me, that one. Though I will say,
next.
I will say, Split. It's not a horror movie. You can't do it. It's a fantasy. Get it out of here. But Split, you might hit up. Split slaps.
Oh, yeah, it does. I agree.
Yep. And guys, speaking of Shyamalan, his daughter, Ashana Knight Shyamalan, has her horror movie debut coming out called The Watchers, which stars Dakota Fanning.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
the
pretty
film
cool.
follows Mina, a 28-year-old artist who gets stranded in an expansive, untouched forest in Western Ireland. When Mina finds shelter, she unknowingly becomes trapped alongside 3 strangers who are watched and stalked by mysterious creatures each night. Now, this one I watched a trailer for, and it looks really fucking cool.
Nice. That sounds like right up my alley. That sounds
It's
awesome.
produced, of course, by M. Night Shyamalan, naturally. But she wrote and directed it. So that's really cool. I'm interested to see that.
Yes.
What are your guys' thoughts?
Definitely got to check that out.
The plot sounds cool. The plot is really cool, and the trailer is good because it just gives you. It's one of those Shyamalan type trailers that it gives you just enough that you're like, huh, I wonder what happens next. And then usually you watch it and you're like, oh.
I'll probably be like, whoa.
I'm hardly ever like that. I think his movies are clever.
I think they are too.
I
really enjoy them.
Derek, your apologetic love of The Village is just too much for me. I remember we'll do The Village eventually.
So
we'll do it, but I will never ever forget going to the movies to watch it as expecting some cool creature movie. And then I instead see a mentally challenged Adrian Brody running around, and I'm like, what the fuck is going? And then you see Joaquin Phoenix, you're like, oh, he's gonna do stuff, right? No, just gets stabbed and lays in a bed for an hour, and you're like, what the fuck is going on? And then she's just wandering around, and you're like, oh, look, guys. Guess what? We're in modern day. Thank God they decided to pick the one piece of land that has no flight zone, apparently, because how would they explain the airplanes in the fucking 20th century? Don't get me started.
Oh, Jamie.
Anyway, we'll talk about that one eventually one day. Obviously, I don't love it myself, but you guys seem to like it, so that's nice.
Me and Derek are going to have solid 10s for that one.
Look, I think
I don't know if I'm going to go 10, but I did enjoy the plot, and I enjoyed the twist.
I think it's a 10. Spoiler.
You had to twist yourself into a knot just to make that twist make sense. All right. This is interesting. So, we have a new series coming out from Netflix. I don't know if we touched on this. Bruce Campbell series called Satanic Panic from Peacock. Did we talk about this?
Nope.
Oh, I don't think we did.
Okay, it's a coming-of-age thriller. It's obviously set during the Satanic Panic. It has Nolan North, Elijah Richardson, a bunch of actors, but and Bruce Campbell, of course, which is the most important to us as, who we are. But the synopsis is Jordan Vogt Roberts, who directed Kong Skull Island, which fucking rips, by the way. I love Skull Island. It rules. But
I don't think I've seen that one.
Oh gosh, we gotta watch it. It's cool. He will helm the premiere episode. And here's the full synopsis, which is when a beloved varsity quarterback disappears during the Satanic Panic of the late 80s, a struggling high school heavy metal band of outcasts realize they can capitalize on the town's sudden interest in the occult by building a reputation as a satanic metal band. Until a bizarre series of murders, kidnappings, and reported supernatural activity triggers a leather-studded witch hunt that leads directly back to them. Sounds fun, right?
It does. It'll probably end up being the local church, but yep.
Yeah, yeah, probably.
I watched a movie last summer, I think, that had Reese Witherspoon in it, and it was about the Satanic Panic murders that kind of started that whole thing.
Interesting. Yeah.
And I don't remember what it's called because it was just on, and I was just watching it. It hooked me in. It was really intense.
Interesting.
So that kind of gives me that kind of vibes, but hopefully this is more fun than that one. That one was really sad. Yeah.
Guys, we got a little bit of Maxine update.
Okay.
which of course is
Okay.
the third part of Ty West's X trilogy. He says that he has an idea for a fourth movie in the franchise. So we don't know when Maxine's coming out yet. We know that it should be due out this day, this year, but we don't know the date. He said he's still editing, but he did say there is this one idea that I have that is kind of, if I explained it, it would make sense, but we'll see what happens. Let's get this movie done first, see if people like it, then we'll go from there. Like I said, he said, so far, editing is coming, I'm almost done editing, so far, so good. Now, all we know so far is that it takes place in 1980s Los Angeles. We follow Maxine, as she's trying to make it as an actress in LA. And Mia Goth reportedly says it's the best script of the three by far. It's going to be the best movie of the three. So, guys, are you still excited about Maxine? We still need to do Pearl, by the way. But are you excited about Maxine?
Yeah.
And would you want a fourth one? I guess it would all depend on how we like Pearl, right?
Yeah,
Right.
Go ahead, Lydia.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say that's kind of... So we're, like, trying to jump ahead
Yeah.
to the third and fourth one. We've only seen the middle one, and we still need to watch the first one. So
Well, we technically saw the first one. The second one's
Yeah.
the prequel. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the second one is the sequel to Pearl.
No. X came first, and then Pearl was made after X. It's a prequel.
Okay.
Yeah. We didn't start in the middle.
I see what you're saying. I see what
Yeah.
I mean, chronologically.
Yes, chronologically.
Right, yeah.
But
I see.
when the films came out,
So
yeah.
X was released first, then
Yes.
Pearl.
Yes,
and then
because
that's
X was the movie that they went to make, and then Ty West had an idea for Pearl, and he and Mia Goth wrote a script for Pearl, and they filmed it at the same time, pretty much.
And
then
she was just the actress, and
in X, yeah, and then she helped write Pearl because they developed the character together.
that is really cool. But so she's not like his partner. Like she was just cast as this actress, and then it developed into.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's great collaboration. I'm very impressed that he would give up that as a creative person. Not give it up, but like share that with somebody else. That's awesome.
It's like building on it, that's a cool
Yeah.
thing to see.
Yeah,
That's
it
what
is.
I was going to say is like, it's just kind of neat the way that has happened. They're like, this was such a fun thing to work on and like be a part of, that like this character can keep going in multiple different ways. Like,
Yeah,
so cool.
yeah, it's interesting. Yeah.
So
guys, I have two more.
Brittany Snow.
Yep, she's gone, unfortunately. She's gator bait.
They could have her as some other old lady somewhere. I
There
don't
you
know.
go.
She was Derek bait too.
She's older than I am, thank you. So
Yeah, but you
Oh.
still used her as bait material. Don't even lie about it.
no, I did not.
Look at him. He's blushing.
I am not blushing. I have no red in my cheeks.
Hey, what's that from? He's turning red. Maybe not.
I don't know.
Ninja Turtles, you guys.
Look, I think he's blushing. I am not. I think he's actually turning red. Maybe not.
When Donnie's making fun of, remember? Donnie's making fun of Raph,
Yeah.
and then he throws the sigh, and he goes, maybe not.
Yeah.
Nice.
Fucking Ninja Turtles is the best, right? Guys,
Yep.
this piece of news is the biggest piece of news in my opinion, but we're going to go with it first because I want to have a discussion on the last piece. John Carpenter is teasing some big news. He posted an announcement and says, big news awaits, including a photo of himself looking out of blinds. Now, he tagged, in it, he tagged Sacred Bones Records. So I'm assuming that it's another musical endeavor, but we just don't know. It could be a new movie. We don't know. What are your guys' hopes for this?
You go ahead, Lydia.
Well, I would hope it's a movie, but music sounds pretty awesome as well.
There he is. Look at John. Oh, John.
That's awesome. I love that.
And he has cigarettes. What's that?
That's
What's
so
wrong?
cool.
If I could have anything I ever wanted, it would be a sequel to The Thing.
Oh,
But
I don't
I'm
know.
just like,
I think the Thing should stay as it is. We should never know what happens next. I think it's kind of perfect.
did they make a game that like continues.
They
on
did.
the storyline
That's
and
in
has
canon.
Kurt
Yeah,
Russell?
they did.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I could have anything I wanted, well, a couple things. I would have John Carpenter make a new horror movie because we need that in the world. But I would have a sequel to Escape from L.A.
Didn't they have one?
No, we have Escape from New York and Escape from L.A. I'd make a third one.
Oh.
Old Man Snake.
If I
Come
could
on.
have-
Come on.
If
I mean, this is
could
John
have
Carpenter
anything,
related, obviously. Yeah?
I would have a sequel to The Village.
No, nobody wants that. And that has
There
nothing
you
to do with
go.
John Carpenter.
They could
John
call
Carpenter.
it The Small Town.
There he is.
Maybe that-
Master of fucking titles, Derek Lemaster. You should call
You
it
just look
Village
so
2, a
wild.
slight frown.
A Slight Town.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. Oh my god. Nobody wants a sequel to The Village.
Everybody wants a sequel to The
The
Village.
fucking Village
So we
people
watch
don't even
them-
want that.
We can watch them walk around and have secrets about each other.
Psst, hey, did you know we're living in modern times? Yes, of course I did, because I have fucking eyes. You don't know because you're blind. Oh, I guess that makes sense. Hey, psst, do you think there's really monsters in the woods? No, because it's fucking stupid.
Jamie.
I mean, it's the great manipulation. It's a play on that. I mean, which is what.
Of
has
course, that's what
happened
the metaphor is. But let's hope that John Carpenter, whatever he's doing, is amazing. If it's new music, I'll buy it. If it's a new movie, I'll be there to watch it. If it's a new TV show,
I mean,
I'll
if it's
buy it and
close,
watch
we'll
it.
go listen to it. in
Yeah,
person.
yeah. If he's touring, we'll go see him in concert. We'll support John Carpenter all the way, all the time.
Yep.
And then finally, guys, you've probably seen this, Derek. I don't know if you have or not, but we have the first images of Bill Skarsgård as the Crow.
Yes.
I have not seen this. Show it.
Oh my god!
I've seen it.
Good,
Show it to
good.
me.
We have a lot to talk about. A lot
Oh yeah,
to talk
we do.
about.
We really do.
We really do, don't we, Lydia?
I mean, I can picture it in my mind.
Derek, you ready? Can
Yeah,
you picture it in your
can,
mind? Okay, now picture it.
Heavily
Now,
tattooed. Nope.
there we go.
I can't. What the? That's not what I pictured in my mind.
Yeah.
Wait. Oh, there it is. Right here. So there's that one, right? Here we go, Derek.
Nope. Nope.
So what are we
You know
thinking?
what? Just to make my mind like think that that's a great image, can you bring up the Edward Furlong? Bask in the glory that is the Bill Skarsgård Crow. Can you bring that up? I need a palate cleanser.
Yeah, hang on. Let me bring up Furlong Crow.
Lydia, have you ever seen this?
I don't know.
Oh,
Hang on.
wait. This will make me happy to watch the other one.
Is this something that never happened or
No,
it did.
this
David
is-
Boreanaz
this is-
is in this movie.
What do you think? There you go, Derek.
Honestly, it looks like Joan Jett. Kind of looks like Joan Jett to me.
I don't know. At least he has like long hair. I feel like that's like
Yes, he doesn't have a fucking mullet.
yeah.
A rapper mullet, basically. Guys,
I hope that
this
I'm
thing
completely wrong.
is giving me Jared Leto Joker vibes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't like it, guys. What do you guys think?
Mm-hmm.
I'm on the fence about it. I'm a little on the fence. I was definitely shocked. It's because, like Derek said, when you hear that Bill Skarsgård is going to play the Crow, you picture the Crow like that we
With
know
him.
and love.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he can transform into anything. So why can't we have the Crow that we all know? But and to see like this, they took a different approach here is kind of
Much different.
I have to readjust my senses to what it could be. It might be good, it might be this generation's thing, because I feel like that's what The Crow was. It was like a generational thing.
Oh, it was
Kind
totally
of.
like grunge 90s.
Yeah, which is what they're doing now. It's like they're taking 90s stuff and making it modern, which is, that's the look right now.
So here's the problem. First of all, I just don't think it's aesthetically pleasing. I think it just looks bad, right? It looks derivative.
His hair takes me out of it. Also,
the hair is bad, and his a million tattoos are bad. The freaking tattoo above the eye. It's very. Look at that. I mean, that's very Leto Joker.
Yeah.
But the problem with it is, if you're going to go that route, that's fine if that's your creative vision. But what I don't understand is the Crow, as a character, can be multiple people, right? I mean, we know that. That's the story. So instead of rebooting the Crow and having Bill Skarsgård play Eric Draven, right? Draven. Why don't you have him play a new character that looks like this? Then it's like, okay, this is what the new Crow looks like. The Crow didn't need a remake. It needed another sequel. That was a soft reboot.
Yeah.
In my personal opinion, right?
I agree.
So, fingers crossed. I'm going to, of course, watch it, give it a shot. I give everything a shot, but I'm not feeling too confident with that and some of the stuff I'm reading about. What are your guys' initial thoughts?
I agree. He looks like he looks like a come to life Robin who died.
Yeah.
I'm not optimistic at this point.
Dude, I was the one person I wanted to see the reaction was you, Derek. I'm so glad you didn't see the shit. Just to see that look on your face was worth it.
Of sadness? Yep.
So, that's going to be interesting. And that wraps up this week's horror news. So, guys.
You should have led with that, man. Now I'm depressed.
I should have ended with John Carpenter, right? Gave you some hope for the future.
Exactly right.
I should have, but I wanted to discuss that, so I figured we'd be a longer discussion. I knew John Carpenter's would be like, yeah, let's whatever he does, let's do it.
It can't be as bad as the Munsters movie was for us, though.
Lydia, thank you for putting it at life in perspective once again. That is true.
I heard Rob Zombie was an executive producer on this one.
No.
He's not. I like Rob Zombie.
We were jamming some Dragula on the way home.
Dragula rips. It's a good song.
Yeah.
That first album, that Hellbilly Deluxe, is pretty good. And of course, the White Zombie stuff is really good. I don't know any of Rob Zombie's music after Hellbilly Deluxe. Not going to lie. No 0% of it.
Said Hillbilly Deluxe, I'd have been like, is that like a country Burger King meal?
Not Hillbilly, Hellbilly Deluxe.
Hellbilly Deluxe.
Yeah.
So we not have known that was a Rob Zombie.
Yeah.
I like Hillbilly Deluxe as a Happy Meal, though.
Yeah, can I have the Hillbilly?
At the Burger Barn. At the Burger Barn, they had the Hillbilly Deluxe.
The Hillbilly Deluxe, yep. All right. Let's talk about Hollow Man, Paul Verhoeven's 2000 horror movie. This is a big studio movie, guys. This is a big studio horror movie. Is this the first time either of you are seeing this? Let's talk about our first times. Lydia, let's start with you.
Well, I was telling Jake about how I remember seeing this on when I was very young. My dad had it on VHS. And he was just watching it, and he didn't want me to watch it, and I could not understand why, because I always watched the movies that he was watching.
Yeah.
And later he was like, well, it shows like, a man's parts. And
It
I
does.
was like,
Yeah.
what do you mean? Like, what does that mean? And now looking back, I was just saying how funny that is to me, because it really doesn't like show like anything that I think I would have been like surprised by as a kid.
It kind of does, but yeah, it's not like a. Yeah, it's not
like
wild
anatomical.
things. Yeah,
It's like,
it's not
like
wild
it's
things.
anatomical stuff.
Yeah, we're not hitting wild things here.
But there is other stuff that I guess I can understand. But
the sexual
for the life of me, I can't.
You.
Yeah. I can't understand why he would shield me from this movie and not Scream, for example.
Well, because Scream is, just has some kills. That's the thing. That's the American thing, Lydia. You can show as much violence, but if you show a little bit of nudity, kids can't watch it.
That's
just the
I
way.
guess so.
Garrick, how about you? Do you remember your first time watching this guy?
I mean, I probably watched it around when it came out. I'm pretty sure I didn't go to the movies to see this, but I when did this movie come out? Like 2000?
2000.
2000?
2000.
Okay,
Yep.
so I wasn't even out of high school, so I guarantee we rented it on VHS. And that was the first time I watched it.
And you've seen it since, or is this your first time since?
No, in total, I've probably seen this movie. This might have been my third or fourth watch.
Yeah,
I feel like me too. Yeah,
I think it's about fourth, maybe fifth or so. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's not like it's one that I've it's not John Carpenter's Halloween, which I watch every year, and then actually multiple times a year. This is just a movie, but I do remember. I do remember the first time I watched this. This is one of those I vividly remember. Because it was 2000 and we rented it on DVD, guys. DVD, we rented this thing, and I remember my mom putting it in, and I remember like the main menu and all that stuff, and then we watched this, and because she hadn't seen it either, so we didn't know what all was going on, and I remember 2000 I was 14. Yeah, 14. So I remember watching this, and I like Kevin Bacon, so I was like, oh, this is going to be a cool and a horror movie, Invisible Man movie. And then it starts, and I remember seeing the boobs and stuff, and I'm like, no, I like this movie for a much different reason. It made an impression on me, this one. This one made an impression on me, much like Star Troopers did as well. But this one made an impression on me, and I always remembered certain scenes from it, which we'll get to when we talk about the movie. And I always thought it was a pretty, then I liked it. I mean, there's parts of it that are super late 90s, early 2000s, but I kind of have like a nostalgia for it when I go back, and I do think it's a pretty tight thriller. I think it's pretty tight. So let's get into this guy. Where do you want to start?
Let's start at the beginning.
Or
we could just...
Yeah. Who do you want to talk about first? You want to talk about the actors?
Yeah, because
I would actually like to talk about the special effects first.
Let's do it, because they are actually pretty damn good. Actually, really good for 2000, right?
Yes, I actually went on a whole deep dive watching videos of like how they achieved this stuff, and it really was like groundbreaking stuff of like building skeletons and muscular systems, and all of the vascular, everything was all done in computer. And the fact that Kevin Bacon had to actually act through the entire movie and be completely like replaced in most of it is just insane.
To be removed. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember that too. Lydia, here's what's crazy. That stuff you watched was on the DVD that I rented. Because I watched the special features. That was back in the day when, good physical media still has good special features, but I'm a special feature guy. Love them. And that one, I was one of the early, because, we rented it, so I had it for 3 days or whatever. I watched all of the special features on how they made this movie. And yeah, the computer effects are really good. And a lot of them hold up
Yes.
still today. Some, of course, look like CGI from 2000, but a lot of the subtle things look great, I think.
Yes, because I also watched a video. I don't know if you guys follow Corridor Crew or Corridor. I
course,
love
yeah.
those guys so much.
Yeah,
And
they're
I
the
just
best.
happened to see a video of theirs that when they were talking about this movie, and it was really cool because they were comparing it to Dinosaur, like the
Which came out,
animated,
yep. Yeah,
which
the
came
Disney
out
movie.
like right before Hollow Man, and it was like cutting edge stuff, and it like, you know, I don't know, it's just very cool. I highly recommend checking out their channel if you're into
Yeah,
visual
they're great.
effects.
They're great. Nico and Sam for life in Ren too.
Yes. Yes.
What do you think, Derek?
About the special effects in general?
Yes.
Yeah.
They were, I mean, even now, like, obviously the technology has changed, but like rewatching this, I was still blown away by it. And just for the time period, yeah, I wish that I could have really like took myself back to the first time I watched it. I'm sure I was in awe.
I
And
was
to a
definitely
certain
in awe.
degree, I mean, it's also because you really don't get that look at the human body very often. So, you know, I'm sure
Yeah.
this movie made a lot of people a little squeamish the first time they watched it.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I remember that's what I was actually going to say about my first watch was like when I actually did have the chance to watch it eventually, I was like totally freaked out by that. And I did not have any like context of like how any of that was done. So I think I was really like in the magic of the, you know,
Yeah.
the science behind like turning someone invisible, and like
Yeah,
I
it's a really
had no idea how it was done.
yeah, it really grabs you because even watching it, you know why I think it works is because the way they use it in the right places, right? And so they don't have the entire movie just be special effects because then you're going to run out of money and your shots are going to be cheaper. Your shots are going to look cheaper, but they used them at the right times. And then they also used regular just movie effects to do, like you said, Lydia. They painted Kevin Bacon out. So a lot of the times when he's holding stuff, he's in like a green suit with this, you know, with this item, and they just paint him out. So it's incredible. It's really incredible. They did like A+ for the special effects in this thing.
Yeah, it was a game changer.
It was. And let's talk about the story a little bit because the story is interesting because it's H.G. Wells' Invisible Man modernized with like the Paul Verhoeven flavor, like the erotic twist of a Paul Verhoeven movie. You know what I mean? Like, you know, there's some RoboCop in here a little bit. There's definitely some Starship Troopers in here, and there's even a little showgirls in this thing. And so he Verhoevened it up, cranked it to 11. But what we basically have is an Invisible Man story, a man that in a normal movie is going insane. But instead, what this movie does is has the man show you the monster that he is.
Well,
right?
I was going to say that this movie is a really great take on the psyche of people. So he's the worst candidate for this program that you could have. He's narcissistic.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got all the wrong traits for somebody you would want to put in this position. And they can already see from some of the animals, like the gorilla.
The aggression. Yeah.
Yeah, the aggression, and it takes a toll on the gorilla.
Yeah.
And so, you know, he gets to a point. There was a tagline when this movie came out, and I don't think I remember hearing it in the movie. You remember the tagline?
Think you're alone, think again.
No, not that one.
Well, that's one. What's the other one?
It's amazing what you can do when you don't have to look yourself in the mirror.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, he says that in this movie.
Does he? Okay, I must have missed it. But I remember I remember the tagline from the advertisements. So I must have missed when he said that. But
yeah, he says it when he says it after he starts a murder spree, and they said you can't do this. He says it's amazing what you can do when you don't have to look yourself in the mirror. over the loudspeaker.
That's pretty good. It's a pretty good line.
Yeah.
It is.
Also, he
You
totally
don't have to
sets
face
up,
yourself, like
Yeah.
consequences
Yeah.
from
Well,
your
you
own morals.
there's something they said like when you wrong somebody, like the look that they can give to you can really affect you as a person, and you don't know if he's there or not. So it's not like you can like convey that dismay. And I mean, he doesn't give a shit anyway. The story that
Well,
he
that's
tells
the
at the beginning about Wonder Woman and the Invisible Man, like
Yeah.
totally sets up the assault later.
Yeah, it is a funny joke though. It is a pretty good joke.
It is a funny joke, but yeah.
So yeah, Sebastian Kane is Kevin Bacon's character in this. And he's like you said, Derek, a narcissist. He thinks he's God. He thinks he's like, the smartest in the room and the best. And can do no wrong. So he can't, so they're successful. They make the monkey invisible and bring it back, but he can't let it go. He has to be the first human trial. Very Norman Osborn of him. And
Yep.
he ends up obviously paying the price, but he's an interesting character because, like you said, Derek, from kind of jump, there's something off about him. Like he's not, like it's set up in the beginning, like you're thinking he's going to be our hero, right? He's going to be our protagonist. And he's Kevin Bacon. So of course he's going to be our protagonist, right? He's Kevin Bacon. And that's not the case. He's a bad man. He's just a bad man that once he realizes that power that he has becomes an even worse man. It's like that Superman question, right? Superman is Superman not because of what he can do, but because of what he doesn't do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so this guy's given that power, and instead of doing the Superman route, he goes and, sexually assaults people. Essentially, that's what he does.
Yeah, and I think one thing that really adds to his descent is being in a room where people don't know that you're in a room.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes you disclose things that you wouldn't say in front of somebody. So, like that cafeteria scene where they're like talking about him, and he's actually sitting right there, and you realize it.
Yeah. Well, it starts pretty early. Like, as soon as we realize he's invisible, he's like, I only got 3 days of being invisible, so I'm going to live it up. He goes over to the vet, and, this is one of those scenes that's always been in my mind since I was a kid. When he opens up her shirt and he fondles her breast, and we see him, like, suck on the breast. I remember being a kid and just being like, what is going on? What is going on? I was so confused. And I was like, it's a boob. Like, yes. And then I was like, whoa, wait, what's going on? This is so crazy.
You're like, like mixing. You're like, I should be enjoying this,
liking this,
but something
it's
is
weird
awful about it.
This is awful. This woman is asleep.
Yeah.
And so he starts early, and then it just gets worse. The scene where he assaults the woman, his neighbor, is just like straight up sketch, right? I mean, that's all so creepy.
It's horrifying. That poor woman. Oh my god. Could you imagine trying to explain that to anyone?
She thought she probably got molested by a ghost or something.
Yeah. Like, how scary would that be? Oh my gosh. No. It's so bad.
It is, yeah. That one would be a really, like, she doesn't even have closure to know, like, what actually did happen.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
we never hear from her again.
Well, and it's sad because, like, I don't know, I don't want to assume, but yeah, like, that's got to be the most wild thing that you could. Because the part of you's got to be like, I didn't see anything. Like, am I going crazy?
Yeah.
Are there ghosts? Are there?
Yeah.
I mean, you could go to I mean, that's a crazy thing. That one would blow my mind.
Yeah.
Something like that happened.
So his foil is essentially our lead character is Elizabeth Shue's character. She's our lead as Dr. McKay and Linda McKay. What do you guys think of Elizabeth Shue in this? And why is she the most gorgeous creature to ever walk God's green earth?
She's got quite a drive in this movie. But
Yeah, she's amazing.
You know what took me back? I didn't realize, or you don't recall the actors that are in this movie. Until you rewatch it and you're like, oh my gosh, all these people are in this movie.
Yeah.
And it was pretty crazy.
Yeah, it is weird the things that you forget. Like, I always forget the cast of this movie, and I always forget that assault scene too.
No, I never forget that.
No, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I never forget that.
I'll block it out.
Yeah, I don't remember it being so violent. I knew that I remember like he went in.
Yeah.
And I remember like the one scene where her like,
mirror
naked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the mirror, yeah.
I did not remember the actual assault scene, so I was like, oh.
I just watched this movie last year. And I forgot.
You already blocked it out.
Yeah.
And you're already like, I don't want to talk about
it. Yeah, I love Elizabeth Shue in this. I think her character is really interesting. I like that she is kind of his equal as far as like, she's the only person in the movie that, I mean, Josh Brolin's character does as well, but she straight up doesn't give she stands right up to Sebastian. She doesn't give a fuck. She's like, no, because they're exes. And
yeah, I was gonna say,
it's strange, like, he's just sexually assaulting her a bunch of times. And I'm like, why are you just putting up with that? You know what I mean? What's wrong with you? Mm-hmm. Of course, when he's invisible, it's because she thinks that maybe it's part of that. But yeah, when she goes,
yeah.
And of course, there's a chemistry, there's a history between them. And she's like, he
finds out about who the man is in her bed.
Yeah. Well,
that's kind of what I was going to say. Like, he knows that there's another person, but he doesn't know who it is. So he doesn't know how close it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like,
like she says, the thought of Sebastian is much better than being with Sebastian. Like, like the thought of being with this genius guy. He's like, didn't you remember when we used to talk about what it'd be like to have sex with an invisible man? And she says, well, it'd be the same thing as having sex with you now. You're not here. You're never there. And then when he goes on his little spree, he finds out that she's actually sleeping with her coworker, Josh Brolin's character, Matt. And it doesn't go well for him, obviously. Sebastian flips his lip because they go at this point, because he starts to go mental when, after he's breaking down. And kills a dog with his bare hands, essentially. Which Sarah hated that scene, by the way.
Yeah.
See that.
We all hate that scene. But, yeah. Because she, up to that point, like, she's, like, watching it, and, and she's like, did he, why did he do that to that woman? She doesn't, not sure what's going on. When he kills the dog, she was like, oh, but I like Kevin Bacon.
Well, he didn't actually kill the dog.
Yeah, but she was like, oh. And so then she was against him, of course, and then when the sexual assaults and everything. But, like, he just starts to go off the deep end, and they're like, we're shutting the program down. We are going to the doctor, head of the program. We're telling him what you did. We don't care if we get fired. We're just telling him. And then they can shut it down. And this is where the horror starts. So the first half of the movie is more thriller, right? First half of this movie is more of like a thriller and more of like a sci-fi movie, drama. And then the back half of this thing is a straight up fucking slasher movie, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Back half's a slasher movie. And that slasher part kicks off with the death of the general. What do you guys think of that scene? Not the general, but the doctor, where he kills him in a swimming pool.
When he is smoking and he goes out on the thing.
Such a cool effect.
His face in the smoke.
Such a cool
I couldn't find anything about how that one was done, but I do. Yeah, because that had to have been practical smoke too, because I don't think they had smoke effects at this time.
Oh, they did. I think it was probably built. Yeah, I think the face was built with smoke effect. Yeah. Yeah, of course they did, because the Mummy had sand effects,
Oh, okay,
and
yeah. You're right.
so they definitely had it.
I was thinking, for some reason, I wasn't thinking. I was thinking, Shrek 2 was like when smoke effects like really
No.
became popular.
Probably,
But
when,
yeah, you're right. Like particle
particle
stuff, like
yeah,
sand.
animation was around. Yeah, that's a great effect, and that's also cool when he's killing him in the pool, and you could see his silhouette. It's a great death scene. What do you guys think?
Yeah,
I agree.
Then-
Well,
or-
yeah.
Go ahead.
Excuse me. Yeah, the like little cat and mouse part of that. I don't really have much to add. You guys did great. I was gonna interject something in there. I was like, not really anything I can add. You guys are great. We can move on to the next thing.
Okay, the next thing would be the rest of the kills here in this back half. It's actually pretty scary when he kills the other computer tech. What's her name? Martha? No, not Martha. What's her name? Janice. Janice. When he kills her, when he pops up with the freaking rope to strangle her, that's pretty good. It's a pretty good jump scare.
Yeah.
when she's like getting her goggles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one.
She puts him down and he's coming at her. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I remember that when I was a kid too. And I also remember that makes me think of like Scary Movie. Is it 2? Is that in
Scary
2?
Movie 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which
Scary
is
Movie
so
2.
weird to me that they took
used-
from this movie.
Well, they took from this and 13 Ghosts.
Yeah.
They took from both of them.
How weird is that?
Yeah.
Oh man, we need to do 13 Ghosts.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one. It's a good one.
It's weird.
It's a good one. It's a good one. So the death of the Greg Grunberg's character Carter, the medical technician, is really good. That whole
Who is
chase
that
scene.
guy?
Greg Grunberg.
Is he
He's
stuff? Yeah.
an actor,
Okay.
television actor. He's in a ton of stuff.
Okay.
He's J.J. Abrams' good friend. He's in all of J.J. Abrams' movies. He's in the Star Wars movies.
Okay.
He's
all
one of
right.
the X-Wing pilots
Yep,
in J.J.
yep.
Abrams' Star Wars
Okay.
movies. Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But
I thought he looked familiar.
Yes. His death is great. What do you guys think of that whole set piece there where he and Josh Brolin's character, Matt, are like
Ugh.
trying to track him down, and he ends up killing him by throwing him down. He gets cut. What do you guys think of that whole bit? This whole scene.
Gosh, that's a crazy. Oh man, when he falls, it really just like, I did not like that.
Yeah,
When
the way he
falls
hits.
and like hits his neck. Oh, that's so bad. That's worse than just getting like strangled to death by the Invisible Man.
Yeah.
You know what else he's from that always gets me every time I see him? He's from
What's that?
Heroes.
Yeah, he's from
Heroes.
Heroes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Dang.
What do you think about this scene, Derek?
It's pretty intense and a little bit. So he just straight picks him up, right?
He's up. No, he's
He's
above
He's
him.
on top of the.
He's on top of the pipe, and has a hold of it.
Yeah,
He's strangling from underneath.
which is crazy.
Because remember,
It's
he
like
sees
super
him.
strength.
Yeah, so he starts shooting at him.
Yeah, he hits the pipe, and then you can see him in the steam.
That's the
whatever.
best part,
Yeah,
is seeing him
steam,
in the
right?
steam.
Yeah.
And
I love
and
the
then
rain,
when
or the
fire
sprinkler
extinguisher?
system
Yeah, the
with
sprinkler.
shoe.
yeah, oh yeah,
Shuts
later,
it off.
yeah,
We'll get
Yeah,
to that.
yeah, we'll
Yeah.
get to that. The fire extinguisher bit's really cool. Spraying him
Yeah.
just to try to find out where he is. Yeah, that whole scene's great. It's really intense. And then when he
The
kills
blood
the
one is good.
yeah, I was
The
gonna
vet.
say
Blood one, yeah.
the vet's a great one because the blood all over is super cool.
That's so
Yep.
creepy.
She like throws it everywhere. She's like, "Come on, wherever you are," and he's already
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
And
So
the
he-
stress of like she's getting that blood for like her friend that fell and hit his neck. Like,
Yeah,
that's so disturbing.
it is. And then
It like
he
heightens everything.
and then the way that he kills her, like he tranquilizes her and then snaps her
right in the
neck.
heart.
Breaks her neck. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's-
and snaps
yeah.
her neck. And then he freaking does the
Brutal.
old after he kills the other doctor with the crowbar and he stabs Matt with it and locks him in the freezer. Great set piece, them being in the freezer. I like it. It's a great spot for them to be trapped so he can like do his master plan. Guys, I've got to say before we continue, the mask that he wears as the Hollow Man is fucking so creepy. Right?
So creepy. It's so simple and disgusting looking.
That scene in the car whenever he freaks the kids out.
Yeah.
There's like, and he like lifts up his glasses and he's got hollow eyes.
Yeah. I kind of have a problem with it a little bit. I understand why they did it because it is like creepy and weird looking, but like they're super smart scientists who are like literally figuring out like genius stuff, and they couldn't have just like made some kind of mask for him to wear that was like more comfortable than latex on his skin all day.
Well, I guess that's what he wanted, so he can look like he has a face, probably. I think he did it so he feels like he has a face. Because he can take it off and on like a latex mask, but they just molded it literally after his face.
I mean, like, I don't know. There's something about it. Like, they could have molded him literally just a mask of his face.
I mean,
rather than like dumping it on his head.
Put makeup on his face?
They could have.
Yeah, exactly. They could have painted him.
But it wouldn't look near as cool as what we got. Yeah. That's why.
No, it looks cool. It looks cool, and I get that. But I'm just saying, like, as like these guys are so smart that like Elizabeth Shue's character literally like makes a magnet to get out of that freezer.
I love that she makes a magnet, by the way. I love it.
Yeah.
Because I was like, cool. I was trying to remember I was like, how does she get out of this? I forget how she gets out. And then she does the magnet, and I was like, oh my God, that's a fucking like 100%. I can see that script writing moment. You're like, okay, I got him in here. How am I going to do it? Well, what if we have all these things in here? And she makes a fucking magnet to unlock the door. And you're like, yeah.
Somebody watched MacGyver.
Yeah, it's like she. You know, there's a world where they're like, well, she could just break the window, kick it repeatedly, once it like, or use something to freeze the window and then break it and then get out. But they're like, well, we got to show how smart she is, so let's have her build a fucking magnet.
That's the coolest because, like, how many? I mean, there's a handful of movies out there that somebody's getting locked in a freezer. Ain't nobody making a magnet.
No. I mean, only her and MacGyver.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this. Angus MacGyver. This ending is really good. I think this whole third act is really good, but I think this final chase and confrontation is really good with the sprinkler system. I love that she builds a fucking flamethrower and she's like, "Fuck him." And I told Sarah's like, how's he keep surviving? And I was like, I guess you could chalk it up to like the serum gave him super strength and all this stuff. I was like, but really, the reason is he's surviving is because it's a fucking slasher movie. He's got to come back and back and back. That's what we do. I was like, you got to throw the logic out the window when it comes to slasher movies. That's what they do. I'm not saying that happens in our slasher movie. You'll have to watch it to find out. But he when she lights him on with that flamethrower, and she lights his ass like multiple. She just like fucking keeps torching his ass with it. Yes. And I was like,
and that's we got a fire
effect.
Such
a cool effect. You know? Such a cool fire effect. And I was like, yeah, he would have been done. That's game over right there. That would have been game over. Like game over.
Yeah.
He's definitely not getting back up. Yeah.
And like, that was one thing that me and Jake were kind of picking at was how like, cause that stuff like kind of his clothes melted to him, right?
Yeah.
And we were like, well, how are the clothes like coming off? Like,
well, they flaked off. I think they burnt and then flaked off. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, did he have latex not only on his face, but like everywhere else? And,
no,
like,
I think it's because you needed, because we need to be invisible. That's how.
No, I know. That's what I said too. I was like, it's a movie.
But her spraying the freaking, the fire extinct or the sprinkler system and having it go off so she can see him in the rain's a really great idea, a really great bit. And then, Josh Brolin coming back and fighting him for her and, says, I get, let me save you for a change. And he freaking electrocutes himself and you're 100% like, he's not dead. He can't go out like that. But they have a ticking clock as well they have to deal with. So the tension's really good. The stakes are high. The tension's good because we have a ticking clock. Because we know that he's going to blow up this nitro in the freaking shaker. So it's like we know they got to get out of there. The elevators, they can't use the elevator because he changed all their passwords. So it's super intense.
That fight scene is just so good. I really love the fight scene.
It is really good. Yeah, it's really good. And I love the effect when he hits her head and we see it split. It's a really cool effect.
Yeah.
Then when the explosion happens,
some hits too.
Oh my god, yeah. When we see the explosion, and the elevator, the bit with the elevator, that's really fun and really cool. Like it goes up, and then they have to dodge it on the way back down too. It's like what comes up must come down. Yeah. Ugh. And then of course, old Hollow Man's around for one last scare, and he's like so deranged and fucked at this point. Like because when we start seeing his point of view, Sarah goes, "How's he still alive?" And I said, "That's when I told her, baby, he's a slasher. He's gonna keep coming till he can't anymore."
Yeah, and I like how it shows his skeleton like kind of like fluxing, through.
Yeah, because it's like all fucked up. Yeah, he's all fucked up by this, so we can actually see him because his flesh is starting to burn, so we can see like his innards and stuff.
Well, and for a minute, you just see like his skeleton, and everything else is clear. And you're just like,
ooh. Yeah. Then on the elevator, you see like it's starting to like
muscles.
Yeah, because it's starting to like form and stuff, and she the way she kills him is great because it creeps on her again because that's what Sebastian is a sexual predator, and she freaking grabs the thing and steps on it and drops the elevator to hell, sends him to hell with a one-liner. I don't remember what the one-liner is. Do you guys remember what the one-liner was?
No, I don't. Dang it, I can't remember. I just remember his face like, oh.
There was a like right before that happened. I thought she looked at I thought Elizabeth looked at the camera, and I was like, so I rewound it. I was like, did she look at the camera? Well, she was actually looking at the cable.
Yeah.
Which was then like to kick that thing. I had to let it play out long enough to figure out that she wasn't actually looking at it. But I was like,
the cable, because I was like, I thought I remembered him definitely falling to his fiery death, but I was like, I forget how quite it happened, and. Yeah, so it's good that she grabs the cable and falls down, and he just falls into the flame abyss. It's a good ending. Yeah. What do you guys think of this one? That's Hollow Man. What do you guys? Any other thoughts before we get on to the grades here and stuff?
Ooh.
Anything we missed?
Anything else?
Can't either.
Can't think of anything that we missed.
Besides them like snuggling on the ladder instead of escaping, like after he plummets.
You have to. You have to get your. You know what they say about relationships.
She's pretty chill after that.
You know what they say about relationships that are born under high stress situations. They really don't last.
Speed, right?
That's speed. Oh. Yeah, that's a speed joke.
Base it on the sex, right?
Yep, you sure do.
Jamie's got a really good story about that.
I do. I'll tell it at the end. Yeah. So, guys, Hollow Man. What are your thoughts? Who wants to go first?
Well, I can go first.
All right, Derek, do it. Dare you?
I picked this movie, and
you did?
It had been quite a while since I've seen it. It was really great to revisit this movie. The actors you've known for a long time, and they're all so young in this movie, and it really takes you back. And some of the references, and a lot of these movies make us nostalgic. They're movies we grew up with. So this was definitely one of them. I thought the take on this story, though not completely original, I thought the direction that they went was really great. I loved that Kevin Bacon was the lead in this because I thought he did a great job because he's got that, like, every now and then in a movie they'll give him the ability to like go a little crazy with his character, and I think when he gets those opportunities he really just knocks it out of the park, and he pulls this character off great. I think he fit perfectly with being Sebastian. I'm going to give this movie an 8. It was a lot of fun. I'll watch it again, and I recommend it.
Nice. Well said. Lydia.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna give it. I think I'm gonna give it a 7. Last year, the movie's great. I feel like I said everything I need to say about it. Really, it's a good movie. Last year when I watched it, it was a Invisible Man marathon that me and Jake had. So we watched every Invisible Man movie. I said we didn't watch Hollow Man 2, but
it's probably for the best.
Pretty much all of them. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a direct-to DVD Christian Slater starring movie. I think it's safe to say you dodged a bullet with that guy.
Okay, good. But yeah, I don't know. Like, as far as like this one was so suspenseful, like in the line of Invisible Man movies, I think there's another one coming up that I'm pretty excited to talk about. But this one is pretty nostalgic, and it is so like revolutionary that I want to give it its praise for that. But I'll give it a 7.
Yeah, I think all the memorable Invisible Mans, like the first of each of the Invisible Man movies, are groundbreaking in their own right. You know, I think the Claude Rains original it was groundbreaking with special effects. Yeah. This one is groundbreaking with its special effects, and I think the new one is more groundbreaking because of their approach to the story. Is different than not necessarily the effects. The effects now are ho hum because it's like we can do anything, you know. But
right.
But yeah, this one I really like. I think it has. I'm a sucker for Verhoeven, man. Verhoeven gets me. I mean, come on, guys. Total Recall, RoboCop, this Starship Troopers, Showgirls. Come
all
on.
of those. I don't think I've seen any of those.
You've not seen RoboCop?
I don't think so.
Oh my God, Derek, tell her what she's missing with RoboCop.
Oh yeah, not the third one. Stay clear, but the first one are epic.
The first one is one of the best action movies of the 80s. The first one was one of the best action movies of the 80s.
Yeah, but, well, I mean, it's so, like, I know about it. I don't think I've ever actually watched it.
But, yeah, the Verhovenness of this is so incredible. I think the performances are really strong all the way around. Kevin Bacon is great as the deranged Invisible Man. Josh Brolin's great as, like, kind of the male lead. And Elizabeth Shue is awesome as our protagonist. She is just a strong, fierce woman, and looks like she came from the gods with her gorgeous self. So I'm gonna give this movie I'm gonna give it an 8 as well, Derek. I think it's really, really strong. Like when I on a rewatch, I was like, as we started, I was like, man, I'll see if I find flaws with this one, because I always remembered I thought it was pretty solid. And rewatching it, there's really not many. It's a really tight, fun, early 2000s thriller. So, yeah, good points for me. 8. It's an 8. Elizabeth Shue, by the way, is one of my very first crushes of all time. Because of a little film called Adventures in Babysitting.
Yes, dude. Such a good movie. I think I had a crush on her in that movie.
Yeah, she's the best. And actually, the lead in our slasher film is named after her character from Adventures in Babysitting, Chris. So, there you go.
Don't fuck with the babysitter.
Yeah, you don't fuck with the lords of the underworld. You don't fuck with the babysitter. So many great... Can't leave here without singing the blues.
Yes, dude, that's the best scene of the whole movie.
Get out of my house!
You just moved!
How could you do that to the poor defenseless little cat? Cat! Lady, you're holding a giant sewer rat! Yeah. So that's a classic. We love that one forever.
Think?
Yes, you think? Anthony Rapp's character is the best. He is the best. You think? Love it. God. Endlessly quotable movie, that one.
Yeah.
Mr. Pruitt with his hook hand.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, he's
So
the best.
good. And the music is so good too.
Scrape, scrape, scrape. And the tire blows.
So,
yeah.
Okay, let's do ratings for Adventures in Babysitting real quick.
10.
10.
It's a 10. 10. What do you think, Derek?
It's been a long time since I've seen that movie. I'm gonna say 9.
It's a 10. Yeah,
No.
it's a classic. It's a 10. It's a
I haven't
classic.
seen
That's
it.
so great.
I know what you guys are saying, and I remember all the stuff. I remember what's his face playing the one. Tow
Vincent
truck driver.
D'Onofrio plays Thor.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Thor.
yeah. Yeah.
And he was so young and thin in that movie.
He was. Yeah, he was.
He was so cool.
Yeah,
He
it was the coolest. You know who the coolest is the their buddy that ends up saving them throughout it. The
Yeah.
Reggie, the carjacker guy. Yeah, he's so cool.
He is cool.
Yeah.
So cool.
So cool. Freaking good old yeah. Mike, he's so cool. Bradley Whitford as Mike.
We really got off the rails.
We did. We love Adventures in Welcome to Screen Bloody Adventures in Babysitting. All right.
Welcome and goodbye.
So, guys, who would Tom Atkins play in HiLa?
Oh.
Thrill me.
Oh, man.
He'd play Josh Brolin's character. 100%.
Yes, I was going to say Josh Brolin's character. Matt.
I was gonna say the general doctor guy.
Get the fuck out of here. No, he is.
Only because he gets drowned in
Matt.
the pool, but other than that.
Yeah, he's Matt. He's 100% Matt.
Yeah.
You get
He's
the
rolling around in the bed with Elizabeth Shue. Like,
come on, yeah. She can't keep her hands
I will
off
not
of him.
give him that.
yeah.
She can't keep her hands off of him.
Perhaps.
Of course it's Tom Atkins. And Josh Brolin has kind of a Tom Atkins quality to him anyway. So he's like a more modern Tom Atkins. So I guess it would work. Especially in Planet Terror. I feel like in Planet Terror, the the Grindhouse, I think his character is 100% like Dr. Chalice from Halloween 3. He's the Dr. Chalice in that movie. Yeah.
Never thought about it like that.
Yep. So Tom Atkins is Matt. This movie would be a 10.5. It'd be on par with Adventures of Babysitting, is what I'm saying. If he was in it. So, guys, next week it's my pick, right?
Yep. I think so.
Yep.
I don't know if there's different points throughout the podcast where we were talking that I've looked over at my DVD shelf. I have some DVDs in here. I've looked over at some VHSs I have collected over here. I'm like, what the fuck are we going to watch next week? Because I have a couple of ideas.
The Village.
We're not watching The Village.
Who said that? I don't know who said that.
Though, we might be eventually watching a movie with Village in the title. But not yet, because we have to have some more time in between Carpenter movies.
That's true.
But I know what we're going to watch. Let me see if where it's streaming first.
I just thought about if we had like a voting system. Like if whoever's turn it was to pick, if we could like veto it.
Okay. So next week, you guys, we are going to watch a movie that I'm sure neither of you have seen.
Oh.
You ready for this? You might have, Derek, but you definitely haven't, Lydia. We are going to watch... It is a film from one of the Masters. A lost film from one of the Masters. We're going to watch Wes Craven's 1981 slasher, Deadly Blessing.
Deadly Blessing.
Yes.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
I wanted to
Starring...
prove you wrong and be like, I've seen that, but I haven't.
It stars Sharon Stone. Is in it. Who else is in it? Oh, Michael Barrymore, of course, is in it. Duh. You know Michael Barrymore, right?
Who is that?
From you know exactly who he is from Hills Have Eyes. He's the main poster guy from Hills Have Eyes. Bald guy.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah. Papa Jupe.
Yes. Okay.
You know.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's Michael
I
Barrymore.
met
So
him
it has.
once.
Yeah. Did you? Nice.
Yeah, I met him.
So it has Sharon Stone, Marin Jansen, Michael Berryman, and Ernest Borgnine is in this one, you guys. Deadly Blessing from 1981. It is streaming for free on Tubi. I own it on the Shout Factory Blu-ray, so that's what I will be watching. But Deadly Blessing. So that's next week.
Blessing. Okay. Exciting.
D-Man, you got a story for us?
I feel like I did have a story.
I'll tell that mine while you tell yours. The Speed
Okay.
story.
Wait, what? Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I used to, back in the day, you used to get like Cinemax or Showtime or HBO. They used to, they probably still do, but they did free samples of them. You guys remember this thing back in the day? You would, your cable company would say, you have HBO for free for this month, you know, or you have Cinemax free for these 3 days. So you're like, oh shit, yeah, and so you watch whatever you can on Cinemax. Well, one time I was in high school, and I had Cinemax for free for 3 days, and I was stoked, because guess what was on, guys? What I talked about, Speed. I didn't own Speed,
nice.
and it was on, and it was uncut. Of course, it was 4:3 because it was the early 2000s and what have you, but it was uncut. So I recorded it on VHS. I was like, yes, Speed. All right. So I recorded it, and watched the whole movie. It ended. I hit stop on the tape, and then afterwards, or at least I thought I hit stop, but afterwards, a Cinemax porn was on, right? One of those softcore guys were on, and so I was a teen, and I was home by myself, and I was like, yeah, let me get in on this. So I started watching this. Well, apparently, as I'm watching this softcore porn, and it wasn't like I watched the whole thing or anything, but I was like, let's see what's going on. You know what I mean? I had to hit a button on the remote or whatever, so I recorded some of it. Because it wasn't like I purposely recorded it, and I didn't record the whole thing. There's only a snippet of it that records, and it's important for the story. The reason I'm telling this. So I'm like, oh my god, I start watching a little bit of it and everything, and then turn it off after I don't need it anymore. And after its purpose was served, I turned it off. And I didn't think anything of it. You know what I mean? I didn't think anything of that. Didn't think anything of Speed. I didn't watch it again because I rewound the tape to make sure that it recorded. Like I always rewind. Back in the day when I watch a VHS, I'd always rewind around the middle of it or a little bit before the end to see if it recorded. And it did. It was on there, so I didn't think anything of it. Well, Morecraft wanted to borrow my copy of Speed. Because he didn't have it. And I was like, oh man, I recorded it on Cinemax. He's like, you did? I was like, yeah. Hey, you want to watch it? So I let him borrow it. Next time I see him, he's like, man, it's a weird version of Speed. I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, man, there's porn at the end of it. I was like, what are you talking about? And I started to get embarrassed because I was like, man, I must have recorded some of that porn I watched. Well, he's like, no, check it out. So he shows me. We hit play, and it was unplanned, and it was from the gods. Because it's at the very end of the movie. Sandra Bullock's, Keanu Reeves says, I hear relationships based off intense situations never last. And Sandra Bullock says, I guess we'll have to base it on sex then. And then immediately the VHS cut to a Skinamax sex scene. It literally went, I guess we'll have to base it off sex. And I was like, that's fucking. Now I'm never getting rid of it. That is amazing.
That is
So
amazing.
still to this day, I have the only X-rated cut of Speed.
More like
Speed
the
Extreme.
That is like, I feel like that is perfect. Like that
Yes,
is what you
from the
want after
gods.
you see
Yeah.
Speed.
From the gods. Do you have a story, Derek,
I can't top that, man.
to follow that epic?
Yeah, that's a good story. That is
It's
a good story.
Good story. That's
I can
it.
tell you a cute.
Derek's like,
Cute
one time
story.
my great uncle peed on my foot or something, something weird.
I am not a urinal.
No, just a
Jesus,
toilet.
man. Your grandma shits on your back one time.
Oh. What were you going to say, Derek? I think you had a story.
I mean, it's an adorable story that happened to me
Ugh.
last night. That was really cute. I was giving Ellie a bath, and I started singing, "You are my sunshine, my only sunshine," and she goes, "Daddy, mommy, my sunshine," and I go, "Oh." She was like, "What's wrong?" I was like, "I'm sad." She goes, "Daddy, you and mommy are my sunshine," and I was like, "Oh, okay." I guilted her into accepting me as my
Guilted it,
sunshine
yeah.
too. It was,
Some
but
would
it was
say-
so innocent. And
Some would say manipulation.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not above that. I'm fine with that. You can call it. They're easy. Clark's the easiest to manipulate, man. Last night, Quincy was like, it took me 20 minutes to get Clark just in his pajamas. And so tonight I was like, I got his clothes out, and he's not like paying attention. He's real tired. And I'm like, "Clark, I got to go potty. I bet you I can go potty before you get dressed." And he goes, "Nuh-uh." So I tell Quincy all the time,
Nice.
you gotta work it. And so
Yeah.
it took him 45 seconds to get
We used to do that with Zachary. Zachary used to be reverse psychology. So if we didn't want him to do something, we'd say, "You better not do this," and he would do it because he's like, "I'll show you." He's still like
that's
that to
probably
this
why
day.
Jake is the way he is.
Yep. It's that middle child syndrome. And that wraps up our show tonight, guys. So, thank you for tuning in. Be sure to comment down below on your rating for Hollow Man and Adventures in Babysitting. Be sure to tell us what more movies you want us to do. We have the shoot coming up very soon, but at the time of this recording, we are less than 2 months out. We're a month and a half away from starting this feature film journey, guys. So we're excited about it, ready to, kill some things cinematically. And good stuff.
Not literally.
And we will be announcing some casting here soon as well, casting in some crew. Be sure to share, comment, like, and subscribe, all that good stuff that they tell you to do on these things. And you can follow each of us online. You can follow us at HiLaProductions.com. Follow us on Facebook at HiLa Productions. Follow each of us on the Twitter machine. Follow Derek at DDogleyMaster, Lydia at Lydia is Spooky, and me at Racket. Be sure to go there to find all your hot Bond takes and movie critiques. Guys, next week we'll be watching Wes Craven's 1981 film, Deadly Blessing. I'm really excited for you guys to see it since you've never seen it. It's an interesting one. I've only seen it a handful of times. I actually had never watched it before I bought the Blu-ray. I think I'd seen bits of it, but I never watched the movie until I got the Blu-ray. So I was like, it's incredible watching a Wes Craven movie for the first time when you think you've seen them all.
Yeah.
So next week, be sure to plug into Tubi, watch Wes Craven's Deadly Blessing, so you're up to speed and know what the hell we're talking about. So for Derek Lemaster and Lydia Judy, I'm Jamie Hiles. Remember, guys, if you're going to scream bloody movies. Cut it out.